Someone asked, what is the difference between contribution and distribution for tax purposes? For contribution, this is the money you invest in, you put in. For example, you contribute to your savings account, IRA, and 401k, SAVE, all those things you're doing is what we call contribution, where you contribute, you give in money, either you, your employer, or anybody on your behalf. Then a distribution is when they give you money. Sometimes you use these words when we are explaining and they confuse someone until they came up and asked, what do you mean by contribution and distribution? So distribution comes in when you withdraw or you withdraw the money from your accounts. For example, you withdraw money from your 401k or your IRA. That's what we call distribution. And usually whenever there is a distribution, they'll issue a form. We shall talk about it. When you receive dividends, they'll give you a form, 1099 div. So what they do when you're getting dividends is what we call a distribution. I want us to also talk about this movement of money. Someone has a traditional IRA and they later characterized it into a Roth. I want us to understand this process because it comes from that background. Even the previous question was linking to that. Traditional IRA has its own limits, as you know, especially to contribution maximum amounts. So you have also what we call a Roth IRA that has a maximum of about $70,000, I think, $70,000. So what we mean by recharacterization is when you have your money contributed to a traditional IRA, then you move it to a Roth IRA. The process of moving money from traditional IRA to your Roth IRA is what we call recategorization. By the way, that one differs from Roth conversion. Recategorization and conversion differs. We shall understand that at a later stage. I also want to answer you who did these three, and you need clarity actually. This is how you said you opened up a traditional IRA in 2025. Then you contributed to that traditional IRA in 2026 January. Then after you recharacterized it into a Roth IRA. At this point, you do not have any 1099-R, but you want to record this. You're wondering, how can I record this? So what you're going to do is, first of all, for 2025, you're going to recognize the traditional IRA because as per your context, by 31st December 2025, it was a traditional IRA. So January 2026, you made this recharacterization and you brought this money from traditional IRA to your Roth. So by the end of the year 2026, you'll get what we call a 1099-R. You'll use that form when you're filing for tax year 2026, and it will come in the tax season of 2027. So do not worry about 1099-R at this moment. Your focus here should be recognizing the traditional IRA and answering those questions that ask you whether it was recharacterized or if there is any conversion. Answer those follow-up questions. Those questions directly affect your form 8606 because that's where we see your IRA contributions. So for you who was wondering what's the difference between distribution and contribution, you answered in this video. How do you deal with a traditional IRA recharacterized into Roth without a 1099? Go ahead, recognize this traditional IRA for 2025. Do not worry about anything and go trace your form 8606 to see how it appears and make sure it communicates the way the activities or transactions transpired. Then lastly, do not worry about 1099. You will get it by the end of this year 2026 and you will use it in the next tax season of 2027. Did I answer you?